Hi, I'm Lucy.
And I am freaking Yiggy Joe, and we're going to talk about some more Fairy Tail. Yeah, it's back. We're going to be breaking it down arc by arc again. And do you know what? There's something a little bit special to this arc.
Infiltrate the Everloom Mansion!
We join back with the crew, and it's Lucy. She's finally found a home in Magnolia. After complaining about the rent prices in Wizardville, she takes a relaxing bath, I suppose, and then discovers Natsu and Happy somehow, breaking and entering into her home like that's a normal thing. She scolds them, but, she ultimately lets them stay because Stockholm Syndrome is apparently a 3-second rule here. The three sit down and start talking about Lucy's celestial spirit magic. Lucy shows Natsu and Happy her celestial spirit keys, silver keys and gold keys, although we all know the silver keys don't do shit. Lucy decides she's immediately going to form a contract with her newly acquired silver spirit key. This is the key that she got last time in the last arc at the very start of the episode. She then names that Plu. Plu is a Nikora and is supposed to resemble a dog, but is definitely a snowman. This inspires Natsu to suggest forming a team with Lucy, and Lucy immediately agrees because 1, she would love to be on a team with real wizards from the Fairy Tail Guild, and 2, she needs money. And officially, this is how Team Natsu starts. In the whole of Fairy Tail, Team Natsu pretty much stays together. Like, they never really split up. And this episode is factually when the team begins. It's revealed that Natsu has already found a job flyer to retrieve a book from Duke Everlu in Shirotsumi Town. Lucy learns the job involves dealing with the notoriously perverted Duke Everlu and becomes a little bit uneasy, which, yeah, makes sense. Back at Fairy Tail, Levy and others notice the flyer is missing, and Makarov tells them that the reward was actually secretly increased to 2 million jewel, but Natsu and Lucy don't know that yet. Team Natsu is already traveling to Shirotsumi Town, completely unaware that the reward has been increased. When they arrive, Natsu and Happy immediately prioritize food while Lucy explores the town. Lucy arrives back in a maid costume, which she assumed was part of the job. But then Natsu and Happy tell her that that was just a prank. There is a maid position at Everlu Mansion, but nothing on the flyer said come with your own outfit. Sometimes I do just think, like, this author really wants to put Lucy in dress up a lot of these episodes. There is so many things in this season and then future seasons of Fairy Tail where you're like, dude, Lucy is the dress up wizard. The trio goes to meet their client, Cabby Melon, who hires them to retrieve and destroy a book called Daybreak. Lucy finds this request suspicious, however, especially since Cabby refuses to explain why the book has to be destroyed. Team Natsu, however, not wanting to turn down money, heads to the Everlu heavily guarded mansion to basically steal the book and destroy it on site. Lucy tries to distract Everlu by posing as a maid applicant, but is immediately rejected as ugly, as Everlu has some strange tastes in maids. The team changes plans, and they sneak into the mansion through the roof using Happy's flying ability. They are quickly discovered, however, and attacked by Everlu's maids, but Natsu defeats those maids easily. The trio finally reach the mansion library, and they find the book Daybreak. Natsu prepares to burn the book, but Lucy stops him after recognizing the author is a legend of the scene and is one of Lucy's favorite authors of all time. This seems to be a book that no one has ever read before by this author. But at this point, Everlu confronts them and reveals he let them wander the mansion to see what they were after. Everlu has hired some mercenaries, the Vanish Brothers, to attack Natsu while Lucy is still trying to read the book quickly before it gets destroyed. Natsu defeats the Vanish Brothers after powering up and eating his own flames, which he really doesn't like doing. He performs a dragon wing attack, and the Vanish Brothers didn't stand a chance. Meanwhile, Lucy finishes reading the book with her magical glasses and discovers it hides a tragic truth about the real author, Zekuwa Melon. Evelue attacks Lucy using his magic, but she fights back with her celestial spirit. She's gonna give him the smackdown, she's gonna give him the hurt, she's gonna give him cancer! Natsu catches up to Lucy in the strangest manner ever, however, because Evelue reveals that he is also technically a celestial wizard on top of the magic he can already do, which is like mole burrowing magic. But using a celestial wizard key, he is able to summon the Gate of Virgo. And people who have seen Fairy Tail before, yeah, do you remember that this is where we first see Virgo? She is not right in this form. But yeah, what happens is Natsu sees that Virgo was getting up after all the maids were defeated, and he grabs onto Virgo, and then she's summoned through the Celestial Spirit Key, so he is dragged through the Celestial Spirit World with her and ends up next to Evelue and Lucy when she is summoned. Natsu and Lucy together defeat Evelue, and they expose his cruelty towards Zekuwa Melon. It turns out this isn't just Zekuwa Melon's last ever book. He was forced to write it by Evelue. Evelue wanted a book about all his escapades. He wanted to be the hero of his own story. So he told Zekuwa that he would target his family if he did not write the book for him. As Zekuwa realized that this was going to be a very sham and very awful book, he decided he didn't want to do it anymore. But then Evelue turned even more sinister, saying that he would hurt the family, and he put Zekuwa in a prison in his mansion until the book was completed. That very book is Daybreak. But Evelue doesn't understand how Lucy knows all this. Even after being defeated, he says none of that information is in the book. He's read it himself. Lucy reveals that the author of the book used to be a wizard, and actually that every word in the book has a spell on it. And if you read it with the spell in mind, there is a whole different book in Daybreak. Leaving the Evelue mansion, the team returns the book to Cabby instead of destroying it. Lucy reveals the author's pen name is an anagram of Zekuwa Melon, Cabby's actual father. Lucy activates the spell hidden within the book, revealing a final message from Zekuwa to his son. Cabby realizes his father wrote the book for him and breaks down emotionally as he was cruel to his father when he returned from prison, not knowing what he had gone through to protect the family. Whilst this definitely was a job well done, Natsu refuses the reward because they technically didn't complete the job as requested. They didn't burn the book. Natsu later reveals to Lucy that he knows that Cabby isn't actually very wealthy, and the increased bounty for 2 million jewel was probably all that family had, as the house they met up in was a rented accommodation and the family was actually pretty poor. This shows that even though Natsu is one of these like thick-headed characters you see in a shonen anime, he actually knows a lot more of what is going on, and he's thick-headed on purpose. Like when someone tries to hit him with a complex thing of why their evil plan is the right thing to do, he uses his thick-headedness to be like, no, you're hurting my friends, and that's what I care about, so I'll beat you up. He's never being thick-headed in a way that takes away from his character. He's always doing that as a choice. And another way we see this is that Natsu also reveals that he had figured out Lucy also wants to be a writer, as he saw her with the pages in her house, and he saw how much it meant for her to read the Daybreak book by her favorite author. Team Natsu then returned to Fairy Tail after successfully completing their first mission together. But this is only the beginning, as we get hints towards Gray and Urza, who all officially become, at the very least, temporary, if not permanent members of Team Natsu later on. And that, my friends, is the Daybreak arc. Now, let me tell you why I think this arc is so special. It really does give you that sense of there isn't a lot to Natsu, but what you can do is over time really dig into what his character's all about. And it's the same thing that Lucy's about, and it's the same thing that Happy's about, and it's why their team works so well together. And you see it in the first arc, and you see it in this arc. It's not just being about famous wizards. It's not being about fairy tale. It's about being a good person. And like, Natsu could have just pretended like he didn't know that family was poor at the end, and taken the 2 million jewel that they offered for the bounty and gone about his way. Fairy Tail wouldn't have suffered in their reputation, which he says at the end, which is like one of his excuses. And realistically, him and Lucy would have been better off, but he wouldn't do that to the client that he came out there to help. And that's the thing I think this is really saying. The thing it's really saying is they are here to help. And it's a theme that I think tracks in all of Fairy Tail, because later on, we really don't care too much about who gave us the mission. We care a lot more about whether we're completing the mission. Like, these stakes only ever get higher, and a lot of the time, there's no reward for any of it. But those are my thoughts on the Daybreak arc. Thanks for tuning in back to Arc, and I've been Yugi Joe. Please like, comment, subscribe. Join the family. Join up with all the people. I've had like a massive growth spurt recently. It was amazing. I got to like 500, and then like in the next week I got to like 1,000. So really happy. Thanks everyone for coming on by, and yeah, I've been Yugi Joe, and peace.